Hi, my name is Albie and I'm a Seattle-based interior design content creator. And now I am in the process of purchasing my very first home. Once I realized that there was a lot about this process that I didn't know, I decided to share my journey, and I've partnered with House Beautiful magazine so that while I'm learning, you guys can learn right along with me. From the very beginning, we realized we can't do this alone, and we didn't want to just jump in unprepared and just wide-eyed and excited. So in this episode, you guys are going to learn how we budgeted and planned all of our money, why we even decided to buy a home in the first place, and also choosing our realtor. As renters, my husband and I were really happy with our living situation. We never really subscribed to the whole notion that we had to buy a home, even though we were married and had our daughter. But after the year that 2020 has been, we realized we had outgrown the renting stage of our life. We wanted a change of pace, a change of quality of life, and with that adjustment, for us, it meant buying our very first home. I realized pretty early on that buying a home is like having kids. No two experiences are the same. And so even with all the information out there, no one else's experience is going to be like ours. In the same way, my experience may not be like yours. So I'm hoping that as you guys see my journey, you'll be able to take what you need and leave what you don't, and it helps prepare you for your next home buying process. Even though we love the area that our current apartment is in, we knew pretty early on it would not be where we're buying a home. Three of the things that we've had to consider in deciding on what neighborhood we want to live in are: one, just the cost of the homes in that area in general. We wanted to go somewhere where we could get the most bang for our buck. Two, the school districts, since baby girl is school age. And three, the commute for my husband. I work from home, so I have no commute, but we had to factor in his to and from base as well as to and from his civilian job. So keeping those three things top of mind, we are choosing a neighborhood that has like a general 20-mile radius that'll fit all three of those needs. There were certain things that were completely non-negotiable for us, and we knew when we'd be looking that would be deal breakers. We knew we wanted an outdoor space, but not too much space. We knew we wanted a large kitchen, but not completely open. We liked the idea of walls, but not too enclosed. We knew we needed a separate space for sleeping, for work, and for play, because as a small family, we also like our space to be apart from one another. And then everything else was just more of a cosmetic need or want. Because we've had a lot of time to think about this, one of the things that has come up often for us is whether or not we want a new house or a fixer-upper. Both my husband and I have agreed we want that sweet spot in between. We don't want the new house smell and that it's just kind of new and boring and flat, but we also don't want a fixer-upper where we're going to end up spending years and thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to make it our own. Having something that is already in existence, but also not too run down, is where I think we're really gonna find our happy kind of nesting vibe. And as a designer, I want the option to be able to make it our own, to design it in the way that we want, but without also having to tear it apart and fix all the things that can go wrong with a fixer-upper. Keeping all of that in mind, and now we've officially decided we're going to buy, we have to start building our budget. We know that our budget has to cover a number of different finances, from down payment to closing costs to anything that might need to get fixed in between because of the inspection and any kind of unexpected fees that could come up. In our case, as a military family, because we're using a VA loan, we don't have to factor in a down payment. However, we want to make sure that we are as financially equipped as possible. Not having to worry about the down payment has been a huge help for us. So we've actually thought of our budget in terms of how it compares to our lifestyle as renters. We know what we were comfortable paying every month for rent. So what would we be comfortable paying every month for our mortgage? And in the little that I do know, we know that the mortgage is like a breakdown of the loan over a length of time. And so we budgeted around that number and built up versus thinking of the larger number and building down. Now that our budget is in place and we have numbers to work with, the next step is finding a realtor that can work with everything that we have and find us our dream home. When thinking about a realtor, because this is our first time buying a home, I want to make sure that this is someone that we can trust, and it's someone that understands us and can respect what we're looking for. So I've started by just kind of getting a feel for anyone I know who's bought a home here in Washington. Who did you work with? What did you like about them? Referrals are never a bad idea. And then from there, just making sure it's someone that understands our lifestyle as a military family, understands us as a family, so as parents, so what our needs are for our daughter, for schooling and for things like that. So when thinking about choosing your own realtor, use your network. In my case, I actually have a coworker who's also military, and they had purchased, they're also East Coast transplants as it works out. And so I asked, well, how did you find your realtor? And they were actually connected to their realtor through their bank. Their loan was through a military bank, and they provided them with a list of certified realtors. And so that was something that, in addition to the recommendation of the realtor they use, that is something that I now can keep in mind that, hey, my lender can also connect me with a realtor if I need one. First and foremost, now that we know the kind of area or the general radius of the area we want to look in, I am looking for a realtor that is well versed in that area or areas, so that they can actually tell us, are the schools good? Is the area safe? Is it diverse? How's the shopping? What activities are available? I don't want someone who is just going to read off the same demographic metrics that I could find off of Google myself. With these things settled, now we can actually start looking for our new home.